How did every Sri Lankan become a debtor of 500,000 rupees? Tonight on News First, we are prepared to give you the answer to this question.
Some speak of the country's development. They say that during their time large development projects took place, and they say that this government hasn't engaged in any development activities. Today the country is suffering from a debt burden of 9 trillion. As the new government, we have to repay this debt.
The total Sri Lankan debt in 2005 was 2,222.3 billion rupees, and this figure reached up to 4,590.2 billion rupees. What is astounding is that this figure doubled in 2015. In 2015, the total government debt was 8,503.2 billion rupees. In the recent past, it was speculated that the total government debt was not accurate. Nonetheless, with the increase of debt, a major portion of the government's revenue has to be spent on repaying the loan installments and interests. In 2012, this figure was at 96.8% and increased to 102.2% in 2013. The figures dropped to 90% in 2014, and in 2015 it rose just over 95%. When we earn 100 rupees, 95 rupees and 40 cents is spent on repaying the loan and the interest. Thereby we are left with a mere 4 rupees and 60 cents to spend on education, infrastructure development and even to continue with public services. It clearly shows that we have been placed in a position where we cannot cover the normal expenses of the country. In a backdrop where the country's revenue is used to repay the loan installment and interest, and when the remainder is not sufficient to cover the other expenses, what happens is that more loans are obtained. With the rise in the dollar rates, we can see an increase of 258 billion rupees in debt. Take a look at the sources that were used to obtain the loans. In 2004, 99% of the loans were obtained on concessionary conditions. However, due to certain bad decisions made, only 48% of the loans obtained in the recent past were obtained under concessionary conditions. 52% of the loans were commercial loans with no concessionary conditions. Interest rates of commercial loans are very high. This is why we have a higher debt burden. Economists say that one of the main reasons for the country to be debt-ridden is the failure of many large-scale projects that were launched with the aim of increasing the revenue of the government. The Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport, funded 100% by international loans, suffered a loss of 2,881 million rupees or 2.881 billion rupees in 2014, and the debt recorded in 2015 was 2,875 million rupees or 2.875 billion rupees. Numbers show that the Hambantota port has also suffered continuous losses. In 2014, the loss suffered was 3,119 million rupees, and in 2015, that figure topped to 4,949 million rupees. There is no issue if we obtain loans, generate revenue from that and repay the loans. However, most of the loans obtained in the recent past were utilized on failed projects. These failed projects continue to incur losses. In addition to the debt burden, the government is compelled to obtain more loans to cover the losses. Therefore, we are stuck in a serious debt trap.
The government is facing a serious financial crisis. The total government revenue is not sufficient to repay the loan installment. The situation the government is in is that it has to continue to burden the people and fill up the treasury. The government is in possession of an empty treasury where nothing was saved. The previous government did not obtain loans from Japan or the World Bank or the IMF. They obtained loans from commercial banks. The loans were obtained on a 4-year bullet payment where the first installment needs to be paid in 4 or 5 years. In 2015, what took place was the addition of these loans. It remains in 2016 as well. They took loans for everything and not only for the war. When we took over the country from Mahinda Rajapaksa, the loans obtained since independence to January 2005 was 1,785 billion rupees. From January 2005 to the 8th of January 2015, the total loans exceeded 9,900 billion rupees. The loans have quadrupled because of these reasons. 286 billion rupees has been paid for the Hambantota port, but the revenue is only 300 million rupees. Of the 300 million rupees, the profit is only 20%. The same goes on the Mattala airport. Cost is 26 billion. Has a single aeroplane landed there?
ඒකෙන් අහස එක අහසනක්වත් ගිල ගොඩ බානවා.